approximately 18 hours into the season at the time of releasing this, and it's probably bigger than the last two seasons. That sounds extreme, but it really isn't. If you look at it, they have changed pretty much everything. We're gonna go through the patch notes really quick and just summarize it. So first of all, they added the BFR Titan for heavy, so basically a 5-shot revolver for heavy. They added the P90, which is 50 rounds and is fairly good. They also didn't mention this, but they added new weapon sights with those, and those sights are gonna be very personal. Like if you like them, you're gonna love them. If you don't like them, you're gonna hate them. They reworked Dematerializer and added a grenade indicator. We're gonna get more into those later though. They smoothed out destruction, upgraded Kyoto's destruction, made it so Monaco has better suspended structures, more like Bernal's. I think that's a really good thing. If you're curious, the sponsors are Halto and Trentilla. Both are good sponsors. I have no clue which one I'm gonna sign with. I kind of want to sign with both. They added playstyles. I don't really see this being that useful. I understand the idea, but I don't really think that this is going to be the best. I'll be making videos on them though. So then next up, they added some changes to the dojo, better rookie stuff, I guess, as they call it. And they're gonna add earrings, apparently. That's really cool. Head-to-head is permanent. They removed team terminal attack. Team deathmatch is permanent on Bernal. And now, other than some Twitch drops in the Grand Major, they have basically nerfed Frag Grenade by adding an in-world indicator. H-Infuser lost 1 healing per shot, 15 to 14. Thermal Vision is gone, for now at least. They buffed the Crane's Wrecking Ball. I'm not sure really what that meant. They decreased the Dematerializer charges from 3 to 2. They made it so it flashes before activating. They pretty much killed Dematerializer. I don't think it'll be useless, but it's not going to be very good. I think it's probably the weakest now. Who are we kidding? Guardian Turret's still the worst. Even with a buff from 40 to 35 seconds on cooldown and 20 to 17.5 if you retrieve the turret, I still think it's the worst. They slightly buffed Healing Beam from 40 to 46 healing per second. Not really that crazy. And it just increases how much healing it has by a total of 33. For Winchclaw, they kind of really hardly nerfed it. You miss a target, extra 3 seconds. You hit a cash out station or contestant, extra 4 seconds. You hit all other object types, that's an extra 7 seconds. They kind of nerfed this really hard. Then Deagle's decreased range. CB01's probably going to be meta now that they nerfed Pike by 2 damage, which doesn't seem like much, but it no longer 3 taps a light. And CB01 repeater 2 taps a light to the body, which is pretty huge if you really think about it, especially in these lower fire rate, more DMR type weapons. And so the Pike, I just don't think we'll be able to keep up. They did slightly buff the LH1, 42 to 44 damage. I don't think it'll make too big of a difference. The dual blades got a slight change. I'm honestly not 100% sure if that'll even affect them because I don't feel like they addressed the real issues with them. Riot Shield got a nerf, which thank everything. I don't like Riot Shield. Well, I don't hate it. It's just kind of frustrating to fight sometimes. Then they added an extra few hundred levels to career rank, making it go to 500, and they changed the tiers from bronze to amethyst, which is cool. Not really sure what it means, but it's cool. For consoles, they added keyboard and mouse support. They have added some small changes to smoke grenade, sonar, and proximity sensor. The last two just making their hitboxes easier to shoot. Then they did a few other small things, none of which is really worth going over, except for Dead Go Boom is now enabled on all maps and modes when events are available. That's gonna be fun. Then they just did a few other small things, nothing really major here, except for a lot of on Kyoto. They just kind of made it so that everything is better. I really think these are all big changes for Kyoto, but they're not really worth mentioning individually. They did some small stuff with every single map, and pretty much just spawn points, making sure flow is better. They also made matchmaking better, and when you reconnect to a ranked match, you now have an extra 30 seconds to do so before it permanently boots you. This is a really good change. And for just a few small other things, they improved Winchclaw hit detection, making it so you actually have to be able to see them. VFX got a slight buff. They, again, added the new 3 sights. None of these are going to be my favorite, but they're actually not bad at all. I think they'll be really well received. Also, the Pike got its own sight. Like, it has a second sight, a third sight, I guess, other than Iron and its former sight. And, I mean, that's pretty much it. They buffed the anti-cheat, not too big of a change. Overall, this was a really positive update, and I think this will be really well received by the community. Although I do have a few small qualms with it, overall, I do think this is going to be one of the better updates that we maybe have even ever seen. It's just a lot of quality of life and balancing things, and I think the P90 will be very good for the medium class because it adds another short-range option while also being able to actually damage at medium range. I don't think it'll be better than the model at close range, and I don't think it'll be better than any of the ARs in medium range. I think it'll be really good on that in-between range. And so I think Bernal will be its best map. For the heavy pistol, the revolver, it's kind of hard to use. I don't really understand why I'm having trouble using it, but I'm really having trouble with it. And I think it's a very fun weapon once you hit your shots. It's just kind of hard to get used to it. The fire rate's a little off. Think of it like a Deagle's that has more range, which is why they nerfed the Deagle's range. Also, now that all of the medium specializations got a lot of changes, I think that it's actually a very good thing, and it'll make just how the balance is a lot better. I don't really think that this should create any issues. I don't think Turret's going to be too strong. I don't think Heal Beam's going to be too strong, and Dematerializer is certainly not going to be too strong. Curious, the bug fixes pretty much consisted of just making it more accurate to what you're seeing. Fixing rendering, performance and stability, things like that. So again, like the Winchclaw thing, you actually have to be able to see them to detect them and be able to hit them and hook them. I think this is a really good thing. I'm not sure how well it'll actually work since they've tried this before and it was a little wrong, I guess. And it's just been a little inconsistent with that. They did add a lot of new vault locations, by the way, and I think that's a good thing. They added new cash out locations, one on the crane in Monaco. That is going to be utter insanity. And they just overall made Monaco a better map, and Monaco was already a good map. They just made it so that heavies have an easier time getting up onto the roofs. Ladders, adjusted the cliff's edge of the forest, added new spawn points. Also seems that they're trying to make duck and cover a little more predictable and the collision a little better with that, since apparently it had issues. I hadn't noticed this though. And they've added a lot more cover along the rift of Nozomi Citadel. I think that's pretty big. Just fixed a few other visual bugs for Skyway, Soul, Sis, and the tutorial is supposed to be a little better now. Sis Horizon also got Sis, Seoul, and Skyway, along with Monaco, Vegas, and Kyoto, Fortune Stadium, Bernal, all got new spawn points, which I think will help a lot because it got to the point where you knew where they were spawning if you play the game enough, which kind of didn't really feel fair. Although the more you play, the better you know that, so I do think it is a pretty big advantage. One thing to note for Kyoto, they did remove all cash out stations inside the bamboo forest as prolonged combat proved too problematic in such a dense natural environment. I don't like this. I actually thought those were really fun because they made it so you had to play very differently. It created a lot of funny strategies. The goo nades up high. I think all of this was actually very fun for the game. I do have bias. I do play Charge and Slam, so I have some bias there. But I don't think that it was any straight up bad changes for this. I think it was a lot of balancing, and I think it was a lot of good changes. I think Smoke and Thermal is, Thermal's gone, but I think Smoke and Thermal will come back heavily nerfed or even not even working. And I think Thermal Vision will fade out of the meta when they re-add it, if they do. This might be another thing like Recon Sense where they don't add it. I think the visions, Recon Sense, Night Vision, and Thermal Vision are so hard to balance. I don't even know if you knew Night Vision existed. It did at one point. But I think they're so hard to balance that it might just make more sense to keep it out of the game. So for those Smoke and Thermal mains, I had fun with it too, but really for balance of the game, it probably should stay gone. So overall, really positive. I think it'll make newcomers have a lot more fun and it'll be easier for them. And I have like content for the next 6 years apparently from this one update. I think all of this will affect how the meta is, especially the Pyke nerfs. I think that will completely remove it from the meta. I think the CB will take its spot if the CB is meta. I'm not sure what the medium meta is anymore because I'm not fully sure how good the P90 is yet. I do think it is pretty good. I don't think it is the best weapon for medium. So here's the question. How is the heavy meta shooken up? I think heavy will be very different from what it looked like last season. I think that the revolver is actually very good. I just think it takes a lot of skill. I think it's like the Deagles in that way. So I think that either that or Shack will be the meta. I don't think Winch will be meta anymore. Its cooldown is simply too long. I think Mesh might take its spot. I could see Goo-Gun taking it. I don't think Goo-Gun is good enough. And I think Charge and Slam is still a little too nerfed. I will be using Charge and Slam because I love Charge and Slam. But I think that Heavy's in a very good state right now where I'm not really sure what specializations are meta. Dome Shield is obviously meta. Probably the Revolver and Shack are meta for the gun. And I don't know what the other two gadgets are going to be. RPG is probably in there. And Barricades are probably in there. C4's in there. Pyro Mines are in there. There's just a lot that you could put in there. I think Heavy is probably the most well-balanced class right now. Just simply because it feels like everything's usable. The Lewis is usable, the Sledgehammer is usable, even the Spear is usable by some miracle. And so I think Heavy is the most well-balanced class right now, while also not having anything that's really overpowered. Okay, we're going to summarize this real quick. Data Reshaper got heavily nerfed, Winch got heavily nerfed. They made a lot of spawn point changes, a lot of cash out changes on pretty much every map. A new weapon for medium, which was the P90, the new weapon for heavy, which is basically a 5-shot revolver that does a lot of damage. They added a few new sights, and overall it was a very good update that will probably change a lot. The destruction also got changed on a few maps, but I'm not really sure how that'll turn out yet. Thank you for watching this long, by the way. If you're looking to get better, rank up, anything like that, you should check out the Discord in the description. Or if you'd like to try for the fashion contest, we're going to try to do that more consistently. We just need a few more submissions. Otherwise, or especially do that, I hope you have an amazing day.